Yep, it's that time again. The older man has a review. And listen, this one is gonna trigger some ladies. Man, you know, I always have to say this in my videos. Number one, this is a male's channel. I advise men. I bring male information. Probably get canceled soon, but what can I do? I'm here to put a little bit on the scale for the men, because men don't have any support.
There's a concept called male disposability. We as a culture don't care about the problems that uniquely or disproportionately impact men. Male homelessness, 3/4 of men, male suicide, 80% of men, war deaths, 99.999% of men. We don't care as a culture about anything that impacts men. The best you'll hear is people talking about men's mental health, and it's always followed by so they can be productive and help the culture.
If men were more valuable in society, why would they be the first ones sacrificing war?
Because they're not valuable.
Men are literally being thrown to the wayside in the society that we now live in. And saying that, subscribe, come on. Hit that subscription button, hit the good old notification button so that you can constantly be notified when I drop another truth bomb. Okay, ladies, I'm talking to you. I know I have around 16% of my followers who are women. I would like to get that into a 50-50 range where we can start to get harmony between males and females. That is my ultimate goal. Now, if you guys want more info, if you guys want to get a little bit more out of the older man, if you need a mentor, father figure, etc., log into my website, askanolderman.com, book a session with me. Very reasonable, and I'm here to help. I'll be the uncle, the dad that you never had. I am just an extra older mind, a more experienced mind that still stay current with what's going on in today's world. And I'm one of those men who constantly expanding his knowledge. I see the bullshit, I call it out. I see the inequality, I call it out, whether it's male or female. The reality of it is, I am a feminist of the older generation, when feminism wanted just a little bit more equality. Not now, where we're living in a gynocentric society, where everything we have to say, do, is all about pleasing the woman. The advertisers know this. The marketers know this. They know. I know right now that I would be having a lot more sponsors, right, asking me to push their products if I did not have a skew towards men. The day that I start mumbling and pleasing women, I know that the sponsors will be coming out in droves to show me products, because they know that women consume. They know where their audience is. They know that I am not targeting women. With that said, now I'm not going to interrupt this video because I want you guys to really listen to what this gentleman says, okay? It's a very insightful way at which this gentleman sees the patriarchy. Now, we no longer have a patriarchy. We have a gynocentric society ran by mostly men. Is it good for society? Are you happy with the way society is being ran right now?
Just be a slut.
Women, sleep with who you want to sleep with. Do it however much you want to.
I f***ed 3 dudes in one night.
I went to a party. I had sex with 3 different guys in one night. I cheated on my boyfriend with the guy I told him not to worry about.
If he goes on vacation with his boys, I am cheating.
I think women should stop sleeping with men, to be honest.
When I'm in a relationship, I don't believe in spending my money on my man.
Like many women, I didn't need a man to buy my house, to buy my car, or keep my lights on. We don't need you guys for anything.
I don't want a son because they're the problem.
Just be a slut.
CDC, approximately 1 in 5 women between the ages of 40 to 59 and 1 in just 4 women over 50 are turning to antidepressants. That's compared with 1 in 10 women between 18 and 39 using this kind of medicine. Why is this happening?
Relationships and marriages at an all-time low. The birth rates amongst countries, every country in the West, Are you or anyone in the society is happy that the birth rates is way below what it should be? Are we winning as a society? And if you've answered yes to any of those questions, you're delusional. Because I can tell you, none of those things that I mentioned are good. Gentlemen, we just have to open our minds to understand one simple thing. Follow the money and you will see who's in control. Now I digress a bit with this monologue. So let's listen to this gentleman talk about something that's quite profound. Listen to his words very carefully. Ladies and gentlemen, ready?
This man is dropping truth bombs. Take a listen.
I mean, doesn't the Quran say that men have authority over women?
Well, don't they? I mean, according to your own narrative, men have been running the show. The feminists are asking for their so-called rights from who exactly? Okay, if you didn't have what you call patriarchy, then what you would have is a hell on earth for women. Because clearly, women do not have the power to coerce men, to force men, to make men deal with them this way or that way. If you're out somewhere and a man starts to chat you up and you don't want to be chatted up, what do? You tell him, I have a boyfriend, I'm married, and he goes away. You have to conjure up an imaginary man to get him to back off, because 9 times out of 10, only a man can keep another man in check, because men are inherently more dangerous than women. Instead of patriarchy, replace that word with bodyguard. What makes more sense? For you to be my bodyguard or for me to be your bodyguard? Who do you think is more capable of protecting who? From who? If men didn't protect women, who would? Why, men would do whatever they wanted. And isn't your bodyguard responsible for you? Shouldn't you listen to him if he says, for example, don't go here, don't go there, or let's take this route instead of that route because it's safer? Isn't that authority? Yeah. But he's doing it for you. Would you feel resentment about that authority? That's irrational. Look, you cannot dismiss the importance of physicality, human physicality. We're physical beings. Technology does not level the field the way you think it does. And if you were walking in the street by yourself late at night and you see a man coming towards you, which one of the two of you is more likely to be afraid? Who's going to be scared of who? Me. But see, you in the West have confused this. The feminists have confused this. The power imbalance. That literal physical power imbalance. That imbalance in the ability to coerce and exert force and to be violent. It's just a fact and a reality of the power imbalance between men and women. But your culture is in love with power. It's in love with force. It's in love with violence. So to you, whoever has the greater capacity for violence, whoever has the greater capacity for being dangerous, then that person is better. The one who can exert his will is better. Whoever has the power to force people to do something is better. And whoever is weaker is less. It's because you admire power so much, and you admire force, and you admire the ability to coerce, that you find yourself resenting that men have authority over women, or the idea, the concept of men having authority over women, because you think it's unfair. You think that women are being deprived. But remove that authority and see how deprived you'll be. Remove that authority and you will be in danger. You will be deprived of your safety. You'll be deprived of your security, your freedom, and maybe your life. You invent a concept, this concept of equality, and treat it as sacred, and you believe in it religiously, with religious devotion, and you demand that everyone believes in it, and no one can dare doubt the reality and the holy truth of the concept of equality, even though all evidence that you are exposed to on a daily basis disproves that concept. So you'll make fun of us and you'll look down on us and you'll insult our intelligence for believing in something that you say we don't have any proof for. Meanwhile, you're believing in something for which all of the proof that exists disproves it. You see how incoherent your thinking processes are?
You guys got to sort of absorb what this gentleman said. I would encourage you to play this over a few times. Now, I was sent this video about 4 times so far by different men, 1 woman. And I tried to find the flaw in his argument. I couldn't find any. To be honest, I just couldn't find a flaw in his argument. But the problem is that we don't see this type of rhetoric on mainstream or primarily in the West. This gentleman is definitely, this gentleman is a Muslim. I don't know whether that's Muslim outside of the Middle East or not, but the point remains, doesn't matter where facts come from, as long as they're valid. Men are inherently stronger than women. That is undeniable, regardless of how many movies you see with women kicking men's ass. It's just not possible. A 12-year-old who is trained in fighting can probably take out a woman who's much more mature and experienced fighter in a ring with no rules, even with no rules. Because I can tell you, when a woman hits a man, the amount of force that she generates really isn't that much compared to when a man hits a woman twice. And I'm just talking about fighting. Now, I'm not saying to you guys that all men should go out and beat up women. What I'm saying to you is that we're pushing a narrative for women to try to believe that men don't have any intrinsic value.
The gold is going to go to Michael Cherry, and the Alison Felix moves to 12 world titles. Really close on the line.
They put one girl against a whole male team at the end, and she went straight from the first place to the last place. Oh my.
Now on a 2x2 leg.
Even though the only reason that she is here in this present point in life is because men fight for her to have this right. You don't believe me? Let's look at Afghanistan. What do you think is happening in Afghanistan right now?
حقوق خانم‌ها پایمال میشه چون کسی بودم همیشه اکتیو بودم کار میکردم فعالیت داشتم حالا در چارچوب خانه
مثلا سرپوشش ما بیشتر از این که به فکر مثلا حکومتی گپا باشن زیادتر فوکسشان به سر حجاب گپای ما هستن
همه بخش ها منظم است یک زمینی کار بر ما مساحت نیست
long distances without a close male relative. And in May, the Taliban said women had to cover their faces in full while in public. In fact, you'll see posters just like this one across the country. There have been other big changes, too. Thousands of women have been stopped from going back to their government jobs. They're essentially being paid to sit at home. And then there's the issue of girls' education. Girls can go to primary school and university, but not secondary school.
Do the women there work? Do they have the opportunity to work? No. Why? Because men said no. Do they have the opportunity to go to school? No. Why? Because the men said no. Do they have the opportunity to wear what they want? The answer, no. Why? Because the men said no. Do they have the opportunity to vote? Do they have the opportunity to be in positions of power? The answer is no. Why? Because the men said no. And for some reason in the West, because the men said yes, all of a sudden women think that they're the boss bee and they're better than men. They're amazing. Men built the world that women are capable of saying that they're the bosses in. Please, ladies, understand that. So when you try to step into your house and boss the man, do you see the problem that you're having? When you start to dominate your man, you have stepped out of the natural order. There is no equality amongst men and women. The problem that we have in our society now is women are trying to become more like men. Please, I want you guys to think about it seriously. Imagine if all of the bears in the forest, all the female bears, decided they want to become like male bears. What would happen to the population of bears around the world? Yes, they would go extinct because those bears are saying, hey, I don't want to have any more babies. I just want to go out and do my thing. I just want to go out in the forest and forage and just have fun because that's what the men do. Add that to any other species of animal. Every single freaking species would go extinct. They would cease to exist.
I think a lot of people think that there's too many people on the planet, but I think there's, in fact, too few, and that possibly the single greatest risk to human civilization is the rapidly diminishing birth rate. And the facts are out there for anyone to look at. But a lot of people are still stuck with, Paul Ehrlich's book, Population Bomb. And it's like, that was a long time ago. That is not the case today. And there was a massive notch in demographics last year because the birth rate plummeted, and also this year. So, I mean, if no babies, no humanity. You got to come from somewhere.
That's exactly what's happening to the human race, and we're supposed to be the intelligent ones. Women are out of order. They're out of their natural order. They're out of their natural biological order. Are they as important as men? Yes, they are. They are the opposite side of the coin. And the problem is you're trying to convert the men to become more like women. You're completely happy with that because you know that that takes away the power of the man when he becomes a woman. You know you can't compete with a masculine man. So what you do is you're trying to convert him into a woman. So now we have this massive push to make people confused that, hey, gender doesn't really matter. Who do you think this whole rhetoric is geared towards? And of course, the feminists are not out on the streets picketing. They're not. They're encouraging you to do it. Why? Because when you take the balls away from the man, when you take the strength away from the man, now you're equal to women. Read the room, my friends. Read the freaking room. Is this the majority of women who are supporting this? I would think not. The problem I see is that women group think. This group think, this mentality of all starting to think like each other is one of the reasons why they're so easily to be manipulated by the advertising firms. It's very easy. Start one little trend. Make that trend cool with a celebrity, and I can guarantee you, job done. Every single woman will start it. Oh, what is this season's dress? Oh, it's the low cut. You see it on every single mainstream TV. Oh, it's a low cut today, and with that we got with a pleat skirt and low pumps, and of course you have to finish it off with some beautiful little organic jewelry, and make sure that your fingers are in the autumn color. Every single woman run out and buy the same shit. You know it, because you gotta be in fashion. In fashion. That basically another word for we all have to look alike. Ladies, jump on the train. These advertising companies know that that's how women are. Which men do you see? Yeah, guys, this is the latest fashion, this, and this for the autumn and winter. And no. Men don't think like that. We got our browns, we got our different colors, we got a few different cuts, we got our 4 or 5 different colored shoes, and we mix those. And we use those for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, because they're classic. I have some classic shoes in there. I have some outfits in there that I haven't changed in 10 years. They're classic. They were relevant 10 years ago, still relevant today. And guess what? Most of them go around. They come back. I used to wear ties. I have ties that have been sitting in there for the last 20 years, man. Okay? They have come and gone in style so often now that it literally, I've seen them come in and out so often it's unreal. But that's how men are, because we don't group think like that. We think in hierarchy. That's why we're efficient in armies. That's why we're efficient in the corporate world, because we know, hey, that's the alpha, that's the boss. We follow his command. Boom, we fall in line. We're not capable of doing what he's doing. We understand that. Okay, we fall in line. But women, no, everybody has to have an opportunity. Oh, we all have to be okay. We all have to be equal. And do you expect men to be like that with you? But then, when we become like you, you don't want us. Make it make sense. That is the emotional part of female brain that's operating. And we must accept whatever you throw at us. Oh, I want my man to be emotionally available. You know, I want him to... I don't have a problem with him wearing nails or doing his nails or doing his eyebrows or, you know, wearing a little lip gloss or being a little soft. Yes, you do. Gentlemen, remember, never listen to what a woman say. Watch what she responds to. That's it. What comes out of a woman's mouth is not what she responds to. Let's listen to how this lady responded to the gentleman, the one that we started listening to. Let's hear how she responds.
And a lot of people might say the pen is mightier than the sword. That's true to an extent. I'm a writer. I know the power of words, especially well-written words. However, in order for words to be effective, they have to make sense. There has to be truth in those words. And without that truth, you're just dealing with Disney. And that's what the feminist movement is, basically. Disney. Because there's no truth behind it.
I'm glad she's saying it, okay? Because it is. If you go on Netflix right now, I want you to select the top trending movies right now. And you will see women kicking ass in every single one of them. Look at that right now. I challenge you to go and click on to Disney. Even my dear wife, who's a very strong woman, she's in the gym, she lifts, she does her thing, right? She said, okay, that's pretty unbelievable. She's just kicking these guys' butt. Not even one. Like 3 of them at the same time, like, you know, bam, bam, bam. Even my 14-year-old daughter says sarcastically, yeah, that's believable. And it's frustrating to watch, because even though we know that it's just a movie, movies have to be at least a little bit believable for us to digest it intellectually, for us to walk away feeling like, yeah, man, that was a good movie. I just walk away from these movies just feeling like, these people just took me for a freaking idiot to watch that pile of shit. I can't walk away from movies now that does this. You know, there's a reason why heroes have always been men and women have always been the damsel in distress. It's because the man's journey has always been a massive struggle. And the struggle he goes through for is to protect the woman, is to protect and provide for the woman. The female's journey has always been there for her to provide support for the man. Because we know biologically, the reverse is literally impossible. Because if her opponent are men, the story wouldn't end well. It never ended well for a woman when she was fighting men. Especially back in the day when men were freaking men. Your average man back then was swinging an axe to cut wood, the least to cut wood for fuel. Where a woman, that was not her role. Men were working, and the majority of those jobs were physical labor. Whether it was on the farm, construction, railroad, the coal mines, These were men that were freaking tough-ass men. Not today's men behind a keyboard. But nowadays, even though both parties are clicking away and touching away on their phones, the woman thinks that now she has an advantage over a man. Blows my mind. Let's listen to some more of what this lady have to say.
Behind it. If you take away the patriarchy, what does feminism have? Nothing. Women would be in danger without the patriarchy. The patriarchy is what keeps us safe. Because if you take those laws away, again, we have nature. We have the nature of man and the nature of woman, which is not just the emotional nature, it's also the physical nature. And that, as women, we do not want to confront because we know what it means. We have no foot to stand on. We are physically weak compared to men. The only demographic of human beings on this planet that women have an advantage over are children. And we utilize that advantage as well. So without the structure of patriarchy, you would have men dominating women, women dominating children, and children dominating each other. That's the way it works. That's the totem pole of power. And as he stated in this video, as a culture, we are obsessed with violence and strength and dominance. What it boils down to, the anger that's in a lot of women. We're jealous of men. And I don't care what you say to me. That is the truth. Because you know what physical strength means. You know what dominance means. And you know you don't have it. So you're trying to write it into history. And good luck with that. Good luck with trying to write something fantastical. Yeah, you might end up with a movie like Avatar. Visually beautiful. Fantastical. But in real life, it doesn't make sense. It's not going to happen. There are no blue people. You might have movies like She-Hulk and other films where women have an unimaginable amount of strength where they can go toe-to-toe with men. But as we know, that is not real life, right? And feminism is not real life. It's a fantasy. It's a dream. What the man said in this video is reality, and that reality terrifies us. So hence, feminism, trying to create some illustrious words that is going to make men feel guilty about their nature. Good luck. Yeah, it might work with some guys, but guys are not going to give up who they are. And we're always going to need men, no matter what. And women can sit there fantasizing about a world where men don't exist. Good luck with that too, because men are always going to be here.
Listen, guys, that was one powerful piece of information. Thanks, guys, for sharing that with me. Listen, I am not putting down women in any way, shape, or form. What bothers me is the fact that we have reached this point in society and in life where we're fed this delusion, and the delusion isn't doing anything good for society.
Women in the West are on antidepressants higher. If we're more obese than other countries, our results are not good. So, yet we're more successful.
Not in terms of happiness.
We're more successful. Define success. If you are absolutely miserable at your core, if you are drinking, if you're dipping into the drugs, if you are on the antidepressants or the anti-anxiety medication and you're making money, are you happy? No, you're not happy. And I love this because they'll make it out like women in other countries who say are far more traditional. And they opt to be stay-at-home moms, and they take care of their homes, and they make decisions that they're going to prioritize their family. Modern women in the United States will say those women aren't successful. It's not successful to build a beautiful family. That's not a sign of success to you. What about to raise a healthy, robust, productive member of society that goes from boy to man or girl to woman? That's not success to you?
Because I'm going to be waiting for a lot of you ladies to come back to me and tell me how good you feel about not having a man, having to work massive amount of hours just to compete with men in the workplace. You can't fight men physically. You're dealing with a slew of men claiming to be men. The weak men are converting into your domain, taking away your scholarships, taking away your opportunities when it comes to sports. Because you remember, the differences between first, second, and third right now in any sport is milliseconds. Milliseconds. That's all the advantage he needs. And if men are coming over as 30% stronger, you've already lost. Those milliseconds are destroyed. I want to protect women. I want you all to understand that what is happening with radical feminism is not conducive to your well-being. And as a man with 2 daughters, 2 teenage daughters, I want to see the best for them. I want them to win. All right? I want to watch this one last video.
First of all, I'm not a misogynist, because a misogynist is someone that puts down women. I exalt women to their rightful role. Women are supposed to be women, not men. And every time somebody says that a woman is equal to a man and does what a man could do, and you're actually abusing and denigrating women. Women have a unique purpose, and they're special. They're fearfully and wonderfully made by God. I support women. So I'm not a misogynist. I don't put down. You're putting down women by saying women can be men. You're putting down women by saying transgenders can be women. No, they can never be women. Women are special, and no man can just convert and say I'm a woman today. You're putting down women by saying that.
Preach, brother, preach.
So you're actually anti-women. I'm pro-woman. I'm pro-mothers, I'm pro-wives, and I'm pro-women.
So guys, listen. I don't want this to be too long. This isn't about female bashing. I am criticizing an ideology, the feminist ideology. This idea that we must denigrate men in order to rise ourselves up as women. And I personally don't see this as good for any society. I can tell you China don't do this. Other countries outside the West don't do this. And then we criticize those countries for not being progressive enough. Something's wrong. When you live outside the Western Hemisphere, you start to see a bigger picture. One of the best things I've done is actually moved outside the West, because I see with a much larger vision. I see with a much clearer vision, because I know and I see both sides of the stone. But hey, what can I say? It's just one man here. A man that's been around a while, an older man, a man who looks at life with a little bit clearer perspective than just emotional. Okay, guys, listen, as usual, subscribe, but more importantly, let's have a discussion. Let's talk about it. That's what this channel is all about. For you to open your eyes a little bit more, have a greater and deeper vision of life, so that we can all get along as males and females. Let's leave it like that. Okay? So guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. Cheers.